Hello.
Morning, Mario.
Hi. Where are you? Somewhere else?
I'm in Israel.
In New York?
In Israel.
In Israel. Oh,
Yeah.
very
Yep,
good.
yep. I'm going to be here for roughly a month.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
You have family there?
I have a granddaughter,
Yeah.
and yeah, and her husband is in the army right now for a couple of months. We're going to help her out a little bit with the two little kitties, and that's what we're here for.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem.
How did you fly with Elal?
Yes, that's the only way to fly.
Yes, I
Literally,
know. I
they
know.
got you. They've got you in a monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much
So for you, it's 6 in the morning, right?
what's that?
For you, it's 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. As long as you keep it in that time zone, it's okay. Anything else? Well, we'll see. Anyways, we'll try to join when we can.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Where are we at?
54.
Good evening, everybody.
I am
Hello?
in.
Good.
Abe is joining us from Israel.
Say it again. Abe is in Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Abe, where are you?
I'm in Zichron Yaakov, actually.
I love Zichron Yaakov.
It's very nice here. We have a granddaughter who lives here, and her husband went to the army last week,
Oh,
so
hope
we're
he's
here helping her out with the kids.
okay. Susie and I have visited Zichron. We love driving up there,
Yeah, it's
walking
nice. It's nice.
around. It's beautiful.
Except for the traffic going.
Huh?
Except for the traffic going and coming.
You have
We go
travel,
by train. We go by train. There's
but we've driven there and we didn't have a lot of traffic going there. Why is there traffic? Going up that hill?
I don't know. I don't even know where it is.
No, it's up north. Okay.
Hmm.
We are on Nun Dalit. 54. Rav Yirmiyah be raw. Rav Yirmiyah high man the shada lifta be pili the ara de ger. So we're dealing with acts of chazaka to acquire a field. So, for example, a ger who dies. So a ger is a cotton kenoila dummy. A ger is like a newborn child, doesn't have any relatives. So whoever, when he dies, whoever takes possession of his assets first acquires his assets. So the Gemara says,
Only if he's not married, right? If he's married and has children, then
if after he converted, he has children, then yes, his children would inherit him.
yeah.
We're talking about a ger who didn't have children after he
Converted.
a wife doesn't inherit her husband in Jewish law.
I know.
Her children do. A person's children, a person's father, a person's brother, but not his wife. So we're on Nun Dalet 54. A person who put seeds of turnips into the cracks of the ground of a ger, lo havi chazaka. That is not considered a positive act of chazaka. Why? My timer. At the moment he puts the seeds in, nothing's going on. 3 months later, when it's growing, it's not considered you did something. It happened by itself. Somebody who trims the branches of a palm tree. So adaita the dikla koni. If he did it in mind to be koina the palm tree, kona, then it works. Adaita the chayusa lo koni. If he did it so that he has branches to give to animals to eat, then he doesn't acquire the dekel. How do you know, based on his method of cutting, what his kavon is? If he trims the branches symmetrically, he's doing it to improve the palm tree, to make it grow better, and then he would acquire the palm tree with that act of chazaka. But if he cuts the leaves off on one side of the tree, then adaita de chiyusa, that's obviously he wants to use it to feed animals, and he doesn't acquire the palm tree. Amar Shmuel, Hayman de Zachi Zichya. He's cleaning a field from its wood. If he's doing it adaita da'ara, if he's doing it so that the land grows better, koni, he acquires the land. Adaita de tzivi, but if he is collecting firewood for his own use, lo koni. Hechidami, im shokal ravari v'zutri. If he took clean, large and small pieces of wood, adaita da'ara, then it's being done to improve the ground, and he acquires it. Shokal ravari v'shafik zutri. He only took large branches, and he left the small ones. Obviously, he wants it for firewood or for lumber. Ataita de tzivi, and he would not acquire the karka. Amar Shmuel, Hayman de iskil tikla. There are all sorts of bumps in a field, rocks, and in order to prepare the field to be plowed, he has to clean and straighten it out. Ataita de ara kani. If he's doing it to help the ground in order to be able to plow better, then it's an act of acquisition. Adaita de Beidori, if he wants to build something like a silo there, that's why he's clearing the area, then that's not an act of chazak on the karka. Echidami. Shakol mulya deshada benitza. If he removed, there was a mound of dirt and he stuck it into a ditch in order to level it, then adaita da'ara wants to make the whole ground level in order to plow better. But mulya b'mulya v'nitza b'nitza, he piled up mound onto mound, and he dug a ditch in the center where there's another ditch. Then he's just laying the groundwork for building some structure there. Adaita beidori, for a silo, and it's not, he doesn't acquire the karka for that purpose. Amar Shmuel, Hayman de Pasach Mai Ba'ara. He opened up the spigot, he allowed water to come into a piece of land. If he did it adaita the ari to improve the irrigation of the land, koni, adaita de kavri, let's say he wants to catch fish, and he diverts a stream into his field, and he wants to catch fish, then lo koni. If He opened up two openings. One brings the water, one gets the water out. So then Adaita the Kavri, because the fish are going to swim in there, and the water will go out, the fish will stay there. So that's the simon that he wanted the fish. If he only opened up one opening, Chad Bab, and the water comes to fill it up, then Adaita the Ara is for irrigation of the field.
Ernie, you can only make an acquisition, seems. You can only have a chazokah if you're going to do something positive for the actual use of what you're taking. In other words, if it's a field, you have to do the actual, has to be a positive difference.
Yes.
But how long does it take for that chazokah to take hold?
Right. Remember, this is, we've moved, we're using the same word,
Right.
but we're using it in a different context. When you're purchasing a field and you've documented it with a star, or somebody gives you a star matana, and he says, Lei chazek uknei, do an act of chazak, and that will be the simon that you acquired it. That's what we're talking about in this sugya now, in the last few blot. You have to go and do it, like fence the field. And that's it, and you've acquired it. We're not talking about now eating 3 years and the guy doesn't protest. That's establishing chazaka in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is squatting on your field, and you come to him and you say, "Where's your star?" "Oh, I don't have a star, but I've been eating it for 3 years and nobody's protested." So that is also called chazaka, but it's
So let me ask you, if the squatter would come to the field and put a fence around the
nothing.
field,
That doesn't do it.
and what happens if he worked the field?
If he puts a fence up and does something, and in presence of the owner, and the owner doesn't say anything, yes, they would also establish the ownership right away. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
And here we're talking about acquiring it through an act of kinyan, because just being given a star maton is not enough. So just like you make a transaction, you buy something, Chazal say you have to lift it, you have to do hagbah, you have to do mashicha. So this act of chazaka on a tree or a field is like hagbah, it's like a siman that you acquired it. So here, listen to this case. There was a woman who was eating the fruits of a palm tree that belonged to Hefker over 13 years. Also, Rafik Tusepurta. Somebody showed up one day with a rake, and he raked a little bit underneath the palm tree. Also, Kameh the Levi. Obviously, a dispute broke out. Who owns this tree? And Ukma Biyode. They gave the ownership to the guy who did the raking. So the woman came yelling, "What do you mean? Omer lamai avid lecha? Delo exacted chazage inish." So the Rav said to her, "What am I supposed to do? You didn't establish chazaka the way people do, which is to improve the field." Now, we're not getting the full details of this case. Let's say we ask her, "What are you doing eating from this palm tree?" And she says, "Well, I bought it." And we say, "Where's the star?" And she shows the star. Well, obviously it belongs to her. Now, even if she lost the star, if she was eating for 13 years and nobody protested, so that would also be a claim. So, but it must be so the halacha is, you have hefker, or you have assets of a ger which don't belong to anybody, and you want to eat fruits of a tree that you don't get that, even if you ate many years. We're not talking about a field, we're talking about a tree. Somebody comes and does a mild act of raking, he acquires it. We paskin this way. So a field is different. That's what we were talking about, where if you come and he's been eating from the field, nobody protests. I guess with a tree, it's different. Amarav. Hatzar tzur b'nichse agir. There's a house that belongs to a ger who died, and you want to acquire it. You draw a painting on it. That acquires it, kana. The Rav lekani leganta debei Rav ela b'tzurasa. He once acquired a garden from Hefker by painting something on it. That's an act of chazak as well. Itmar. Sodeh amisuyemes b'mitzareha. You have a field, and all four sides of the field have a clear boundary. You take a stick and you pound one area in that field, kanakula. You acquire the whole thing because it's one field that's completely walled in. And again, you're trying to acquire, this is a field that belongs to a ger who died or hefker. So by potching it with a stick, you acquire the whole thing. No, you only acquire the area that you struck. Now, let's say it doesn't have clear boundaries. How much do you have to pound with a stick? If you take an ox to plow a furrow, the length and the breadth of a field, that's how much you have to walk, hacking with a stick in order to acquire that amount. Nichse goy. You have assets of a non-Jew who sold it to Yisro for money. The Jew gave the goy money. Hare hein kemidbar. Now, the Jew hasn't taken possession of the field. He paid money. So between the time he gave the money and between the time that he actually does an act of chazaka, like we've been describing, it's hefker and kolamachz ben zachaben. Some guy's going to step in and do an act of chazaka there and acquire it, because it's like acquiring it from hefker, even though the guy gave money to a goy. My time, goy mechimati zuzi l'didei stalikle. Once the goy receives money, he walks away from the ownership. But that in Yisrael, lo koni adamati shtar liyodei. A Yisrael will only acquire it once he gets the shtar. Hilkach, in that period of time between when he gave the money and when he receives the shtar, Harei and Kamidbar, it's like Hefker, Lamagz ben Zachabem. That's what the Gemara says. Amalei Abayla Rav Yosef. Mi Omer Shmuel Hachi, did Shmuel say this? Omer Shmuel. Dina de Malchus Dina. There is a principle. Taxes, city taxes, the laws of the king is the din. And all of us as residents accept that. And the din of the king, umalka amarlo likne ara ela beigrusa, that the king also has said that you don't acquire a piece of land unless you have a shtar. And a person can't do an act of chazakah without the shtar. This guy who comes in as machzik is not going to be able to acquire it according to the Dina de Malchus Dina. He doesn't have a shtar yet. So really, according to the din of the Malchus, the buyer who gave the money is the rightful owner once he gets the shtar. And it shouldn't be the right of a person who goes in and does an act of chazakah to acquire it. But uvda have the dur de reusa, there was a case in a certain place. Yisrael dezaven ara. A Jew bought a piece of land from a goy with money. Vas Yisrael achrina rafik bapurta. And another Jew came until he got a shtar and he raked the land. Also, kamed Rav Yehuda ukme biyada desheni. Rav Yudah gave the second guy the land. Or really, Dur Derusa Kamik, you want to bring me a proof from Dur Derusa? There's no proof. Awesome. Bagi Mitmarahavi. There are hidden fields. The owners of the field were not paying taxes to the king. And therefore, Malka Omar Manda Yoav Taska Lecholara. The rule in that kingdom, whoever pays the taxes eats from that land. So since the Goy over there who sold those hidden lands really was not the owner because he wasn't paying the taxes. So really, the one who went in there and did a raking because he accepted upon himself to pay the taxes. But in a regular case, somebody can't just step in there after some guy gave money, he hasn't gotten the star yet. A second party cannot come in to acquire it. Ravuna Zavin Ara. Ravuna bought a piece of land, Migoy. Also, Yisrael Echad Rafik Barput. Meanwhile, before Ravuna got the star, another Jew went in and raked. Also coming Rav Nachman. Ukmeviyode again, Rav Nachman gave the land to the guy who came in and raked. Omerles, Ravuna said to Rav Nachman, my dad, well, how are you posking like? Homer Shmuel Nichse Gorein committed Rav Cholamazvem Zocha? Is that where you're getting the halacha of us? But Levidly Markidik to Shmuel. Why don't you pass like the other case of Shmuel? Domer Shmuel Oikana Malka Makusha Bilvat, which we said earlier tonight, where he strikes it with a stick. So we'll fan for this kasha tomorrow.
What,
Okay.
what time tomorrow?
Tomorrow, 6:45.